Welcome to Chaiwithping. This is Ping Robert, and in this podcast, we will cover a range of different topics from culture, languages, and underrepresented stories. Join me with a cup of chai and listen to these stories. Hi, welcome back to Chai with Ping. Today I have a very special guest all the way from the UK that I met her in college and then wow, that's a long time ago. And then she grew up in Taiwan, spent a little short time in the US, so then we didn't see each other in college for some time. And then she came back. She was super popular in our fellowship. And then after that, she's All right, let's welcome Pearl. Hi, Pearl. Which one is not true?
The popular one, for sure.
You are very popular, I remember that. It's like you have many secret admirers. And you were in the acting group. It was not a club, right? But it was like an English drama thing.
It was part of the department that I was in. So it was like a kind of like an English drama, English drama production.
That's right. It's like every year we'll have
club.
that. Yeah. So I remember that you had some fans, and including me, I went to see your drama as well.
You did, yeah. That really made my day. I remembered it. Like,
and then it was so funny because this time we're doing this episode in English, but both of us were Mandarin native speakers.
Exactly,
yeah.
It felt a bit weird.
But there's a purpose for that. Like we will talk about that a bit later. But listeners, if you want to follow Pearl, she works at Friends International in the UK. So the links will be in the episode notes, and then we'll talk more about that when we come to the topic. But then, so after graduating from college in Taiwan, then what did you do?
Yeah, so I went to the UK, came to the UK for my master's degree. I did interpreting and translating, so between English and Chinese. And then I graduated from there after 2 years. And I started working in a church for 2 years. And then I came to the organization I worked in right now, so Friends International.
I definitely could tell you have a switch in your accent after going to the UK, because you didn't sound like that when we were in college.
No. It's a bit annoying because I can't change back right now, but at the same time I'm not like genuine British accent at all. People will be like, you sound a bit different.
Yeah. Did you figure it out like when you're in the US? Like you study for like what? A semester?
A year, yeah. So I went there for a year and I did sound a bit more American back then.
That time.
Came back to Taiwan I went back to Taiwan for a year to finish off my
There's no rehearsal. I'm laughing from my heart. This is so cool. Like I might be sounding a little bit more British when I talk to like British accent people or people with British accent. So let's see.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wait, so what did you do in the US? Like, was that a exchange study?
Yeah, it was it was just an exchange program for a year for my third year. So when I was still in Taiwan, I kind of applied to this program in California. So I did a year's exchange, which was great. English studies, basically.
Yeah. Wow. So that was your junior year, and after that you graduate and then you went to Newcastle. How was the experience there?
In Newcastle. It was interesting because I did not know anything about the UK when I came here, because I actually wanted to go to the US for my master's degree, but I didn't get into the school I wanted to go to. So I was just like, all right, okay, fine. Just kind of changed to the UK. And then, and everything, especially in the first semester, it was very different, because in my mind, I was thinking, well, it wouldn't be too different from my experience in the US. But actually it was just everything, like culturally, it was just almost the opposite of a lot of the thing I experienced in the US. For example, like people were more reserved and kind of less less kind of wearing their hearts on their sleeves, in the sense that they wouldn't kind of express as much personal feelings or like personal stuff with you until maybe a year later. You got to become good friends, and you're like, oh, okay, now I know what you're like a bit more. So
how would you say the main, like, so if you were to compare American culture and the UK culture, like you said that they're more reserved in the UK. Can you give an example? Like, how do they react to the same thing but differently?
Yeah, so I don't know if this would answer the question, but this is one experience I had that's quite vividly in my mind at the moment, is that I attended this small group of British friends and myself for about 2 months at a time, when I kind of was just kind of hanging about in the street in the city, and I came across this person who was also in the group and who was actually one of the leaders of the group. And I bumped into him and was like really kind of warm and waving at him across the street. Actually, it's like, hi. And then he's like looked at me and then just like quite shocked and just nodded a little bit and then turned away very quickly and then just like kept on walking. And that was that one experience. It's like, what did I do wrong? And like, was I, like, did I think that I knew him well, but then actually from his side it was not like that. But that was like one example that made me see that, oh, actually in a different context, even if you knew each other kind of relatively well, you probably wouldn't
express overtly
that much of a excitement to see each other, that kind of thing. So
but like when
that's
you
probably a bit extreme.
Well, then we have to ask him. But like, I'm interested to know, like, if you greet your American friends like that, how would they react?
Yeah, so I haven't been in the US for a while. You probably would know this better, but I think my experience back in the States many years ago was that even if you didn't know each other that well, they would be like, oh, because I met you once or twice. They'd be like, hello, how are you doing? And like really kind of warm and just like give you a hug and like, exactly. Oh, I miss you so much, and I'm seeing you for ages, and like, just like giving you that warmth and wanting you to feel really good about yourself in a sense, and kind of fill in the blanks and like not giving room for any awkward silence. Whereas I think here is another thing that you would often encounter, those kind of awkward silence where people just allow it to happen and not filling in the awkward silence, but still kind of being there and talking to you. So,
that's quite an interesting example. I mean, if we have the listeners from the UK or from the US, please comment, let us know. The comment feature is on YouTube, so let us know how you think. And that's just one example, right? And then, so I'm gonna ask you for more questions on your first job. After you graduated from Newcastle, what did you say you work at a church? What did you do?
Yeah, so I worked as an apprentice or like an intern for 2 years. And so this is quite a big church. So it has quite a few different ministry areas, so a few different kind of departments, as it were. And the ministry area that I was attached to was international students. So we got an international student group where we meet every week and just kind of study together the Bible and care for each other. So that's the main part. That was the main part of my work. But then also there were quite a lot of things I would just kind of admin and running around the building, cooking a lot, cooking for crowds. So there was this people side of things and like admin task-based side of things.
almost like a housekeeping job that you have to run around and but also lead Bible study with other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the work visa situation, because here in the US,
Mm,
people need to get an OPT, the optional practicum training, and
mm,
after that, they need to get an H-1B visa, which is the employment visa. How does that
mm.
play out in your context in the UK?
Yeah, good question. So in the UK, we have something called a Tier 5 visa. So it has many different tiers for the visa system. But Tier 5 is um, a working, some people would call it a working holiday visa. So a lot of people would want to do a working holiday year or 2 years, and you could get that visa. I think it's only 1 year actually, and you can get the visa and yeah, and just come to the country and start to look for employers. So I was on this visa, but it was under the category of religious worker, and that allowed me to stay in the country for 2 years. So yeah, the requirement, I don't think there's much requirement apart from the organization that you work with would need to be having that sponsorship to to give those kind of visas to people. So yeah.
Yeah. You said that you had a religious worker visa. Is it different from
Mm.
other jobs which are non-religious?
Yeah, so it's you still call it a tier 5 visa. So it's the same kind of visa, same regulations, almost the same. But then they have different categories. So I forgot actually the other categories. I
That's all
need to do
right.
more research on it.
No
But
worries, no
religious
worries.
work is one.
So then it's like you were allowed to stay for 2 years.
Mm,
Whereas maybe your classmates or some other international students, when they get a non-religious work visa, can they also
mm.
stay? Like how long can they actually stay?
At the time, I think it was just 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was slightly
Yeah.
shorter.
So yours was
Yeah.
a bit different, a bit longer, a bit
Yeah.
fla favorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. And how did you make that shift? I mean, you could have
Mm,
stayed there for a longer period of time, keep working at a church, right? But why did you change?
So actually, that program was just for up to 2 years. So I decided to, just kind of finish that 2 years and then see how it goes. And I think at the time I was thinking, oh, I could go back to Taiwan. I could, yeah, do something else in the UK perhaps. And quite conveniently, I started to attend the events that Friends International held. Um, and a lot of the events were actually an overlap of what I was doing as a church worker, because we kind of shared a lot of the same venues and events and people, the groups that we worked with. And so I got to know the people a bit better. And I was actually sharing the same office with my current line manager. He was just sitting beside me. So like after 2 years of influence, he's like,
Like, welcome
come over,
to
jump
your new
ship.
office. It's
Exactly.
like new feet, but same office.
Yeah, yeah. A different spot.
Oh, yeah. And so, like, by the end of your first job, did you reach out to them or someone reached out to you?
Yeah, so my current line manager, he one day I think he just said, "Oh, could you, come down to this office room and just have a chat, grab a drink?" And I did, I know, just do a British English tea, and and went down, and then he's like, "Oh, what do you think about working with Friends International?" And I didn't think about it at all. I was just like, oh no, that never really occurred to me to be a possibility. But we managed to talk about the possibility of me working with him and with the organization. And and then I think I was quite captured by the vision of the organization and thought that, oh, actually it will be a good next step. So that's how I kind of pushed this door, and
Yeah.
here I
Wow.
am.
Before we jump into the next question, I had a follow-up question. Because you
Yeah,
graduated from TNI department, so you have
I
a
did.
master degree in TNI, but then
Hmm.
have you not thought of working somewhere or some position that's related to your profession?
Yeah, I did. I did a summer of interpreting jobs around clinics and like home visits, like health checks, that kind of things, and like police stations. And I really, really enjoyed that actually, even though it was quite nerve-wracking. Um, but then I thought, oh, actually, I could probably pursue that again if in future I wanted to do that. But at that moment, I was thinking that, oh, actually, it would be really good to do something um, with international students because I really saw the opportunity to actually invest in these lives and seeing how valuable it is to actually stay a bit longer and yeah, and then just get to know people better and do a bit of an intern and see how it goes. And but I never I never actually went back. I was just like, oh, really loving this job a bit too much, and I haven't really gone back to TNI at all.
That sounds like, yeah, I can understand that your passion there. Like you found something more interesting and it's also like making impact in international students' lives. So, but I
Mm.
think you're still using that skill. Like, do you still talk to some of the students in Mandarin?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, a lot of Chinese students are around, so
Mm,
it's a useful skill. And
yeah.
when I mentioned, oh, I did TNI, they're like, oh, so cool. And yeah, you got to talk more about it because
Yeah,
they're like, oh, that's such a cool job, um, cool profession. So yeah, definitely
definitely,
using that.
definitely. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Friends International. What do you guys do?
Yeah, yeah. So France International is a charity, it's a Christian charity, and its aim is to grow friendships with international students and grow faith if anyone is interested in faith. And we want to help international students to make friends with local people in the UK, to experience local culture, and also, yeah, to have the chance to hear the Christian message. We also help churches to engage with international students, to help welcome international students in the cities. It is a national organization in that it has presence in 40 cities, 40 towns in the UK. So, yeah, and often works with universities. So it often has a center in a university town. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Do you guys do programming? Like, I don't know if you guys say that, but like activities or events,
Programming. Mm.
programming, yeah.
That's a cool word I need to pick up. Yeah, actually, the main thing we do is to hold events, activities on a weekly basis, and to get to know the international students, providing them like a platform so that they can meet other international students and also local volunteers. And I guess people who are in Newcastle, they would hear this place called Globe Cafe. So we often refer to um, our main event as Globe Cafe, which is a very confusing term because it has nothing to do with a cafe. But it is an event that happens every Monday night before COVID. Happened every Monday night, and we held like cultural nights or Christmas dinner. We had something called a Ceilidh, which is a dance, like a Scottish Irish dance that we always held for the first Globe Cafe of the year. So
That's so
um,
cool.
yeah, they're just kind of getting people
Yeah.
inside the church hall, like 200 people, and kind of crammed into the church hall
Yeah.
and just dance.
Do you
Um,
guys learn to dance or they perform?
yeah, so this dance is interesting because you got a live band with like strings and instruments, and you got someone called a caller at the front of the wherever the venue is, and he or she would just kind of teach you as it goes along, and you just kind of pair up and then change partners and yeah, have a blast. So yeah, that's one of the most popular events, I think. Yeah,
What
other
is
than
your,
that, we
yeah.
do. Mhm.
I was like, you can continue. What did you
Oh
say?
yeah. So apart from Globe Cafe, well, like kind of alongside Globe Cafe, we have like things like conversation groups because a lot of students would like to practice their English, and it's quite hard to practice English with your, I guess, your friends who are from the same culture. So we provide those kind of conversation groups, and we also have day trips to nearby towns or like historic relics. We also have a weekend away every year. And then we try to link students to hosts, like local hosts that could invite them to their homes and provide a meal for them. Yeah, so these are the kind of the main things that we do.
Wow, sounds like a year-round programs. And the
Mm.
students are, do they come and go, or do they drop in? Do they sign up each time, or they have to stay for a longer period of time?
Yeah, so they can pop in whenever they want to, because we're always there. And some people would come for, say, a whole semester and then decided that they're too busy to come back, so they just kind of disappear, which is fine. A bit sad, but that's okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, other things we'll ask people to sign up for, say like weekends away. We'll,
yeah,
yeah, guess
got
it.
it. What's your favorite event from
Mm.
FI?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be one of those big celebrations like the Kaylee event or like a spring festival event. It's just really fun and having that buzz in the venue. But I guess the best thing, most favorite thing that I really enjoy is probably not an event, but it's more like getting to know the students. Um, yeah, and then just hang out with them.
It's probably a little bit remote from your personal experience, but like, did you
Yeah.
see any internationals getting influenced in a impressive or inspiring way?
Yeah, so I think there's always a danger of asking someone who actually works with this organization. Um, yeah, like we're fantastic, international students can't live without us. um, but,
But did
but
you get any
yeah,
feedback from them?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to yeah, to express how well we do things. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have actually little things, little comments like a few weeks ago, there was a girl who is actually just finishing her degree this summer, but she said, "Oh, I wished I found this group earlier. Last year, if I knew this group, I would come every week." So yeah, that's just really nice. And I remember there was this group of European girls who came for a whole semester and they needed to leave a bit earlier than other people, and they came to me after their kind of their last Globe Cafe, and they were just really timid and said, "Oh, like, can I keep a mug that has Globe Cafe's logo on it and just as a souvenir?" And I
Oh,
was like, "Yeah, you may."
yeah, that's so
And
sweet.
that's just the kind of things like you're really encouraged when you hear that and you see
Yeah,
them really enjoying their time here.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but I
Um,
guess maybe the most kind of um, helpful thing that we do is to just providing them a place so that they could meet other people and they can make friends
mm,
with local people.
yeah,
It's I think it's often very hard from my own experience and also hearing from other people saying that
yeah,
it is very hard to get to know local people even if they're in your same classroom, and it's somehow the language, the cultural barrier yeah, the barriers are just a bit too high, yeah, too big.
Was there a time that you were yourself as a personal story, at some point that you were inspired or you were touched by the work that you do?
Mm. Say that again.
Was there a time?
Yeah.
Was there a time that your work at FI inspired
Yeah.
you?
Okay. Yeah, I think um It's probably seeing students who were here and then being so captivated by what we do and then really grateful about that and came back to us and said, oh, I had such a good time here and what you did was really helpful for me when I was there, especially kind of when I was feeling very lonely, and you know you helped in the events you put on and in the people that you um yeah, the people that you had basically were just really warm and welcoming and supportive of me. So that was that happened quite a few times actually with different people from different cultures. And I guess another maybe the biggest thing would be because we're a Christian charity, and we would really love people um, to hear the Christian message and be captivated by God's love. And when I saw people who were actually really interested in that and being really influenced by the Christian message, and it's like, oh wow, that is really meaningful what we're doing here, and that is inspirational for myself.
Absolutely. We actually have a global cafe here on
Ooh.
our campus as well, a while back. And they
Mm.
canceled it because our international students were dropping. And also
Mm.
I think there were some regulations around China, like the Chinese government don't really allow they don't allow the scholars from China or students to go
Mm.
into religious buildings. Um, but
Okay.
then, in the US or maybe in the UK, the most popular venue will be the church
Mm.
because there are no temples or there are no like community centers. So that's the closest one that the Global Cafe can actually get. So then the numbers
Mm.
dropped down and they had to cancel last year. So I was involved with
Oh,
that. So I
that's
was so
sad.
surprised to hear that you also guys you call it differently, Globe Cafe. We call it Global
Yeah.
Cafe.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny because some people call it Global Cafe, and every
yeah.
time it's like, no, it's Globe Cafe, and they're like, just kept calling it
Yeah, yeah,
Global
yeah. So cool. And I don't know, maybe they're friend like partnership organizations or something. I never asked
Mm.
those people.
Mm.
But yeah, it's so cool to know that a lot of people are supporting international students around the world, especially when they
Mm.
come from different cultures, different language backgrounds, and all that. You guys can actually make a connection with them to
Mm.
like culturally and also like socially.
Mm.
And so that
Mm.
leads to our last question. What do you hope to
Ooh.
see around your work?
Yeah, I guess the biggest hope is to see more international students from all kinds of backgrounds to come and benefit from what we do. I guess we have been seeing a lot of students who um, came to us quite late in their time here, and it's just a bit sad because they were like really, really liking what we do, and and we're a bit kind of like, oh, why didn't we find out your group early on? So yeah, it would definitely be good to have more access to more students earlier on, and and I guess just kind of being able to support the volunteers as well. We got so many volunteers, and they are excellent, and they really love the students. And part of our work is to providing them cross cultural trainings and letting them know, what kind of what kind of I guess cultural differences that you'd expect to meet people from different cultures, and that will be really helpful for British people here to work with those international students they want to welcome and want to love. So yeah, that's another aspect of things, to equip them better to serve as international students.
What would you say if you meet an international student or some international students are listening and they are currently in the UK? What would you say to them?
Oh, find out what Friends International is doing, and try to to look for events from them. I think you would really benefit from that. yeah, whichever city you're in, well, not that we have it in every city, but it would be great to find out whether in your city you have a presence of Friends International there, and yeah, make friends with them and go out of your comfort zone, yeah, and just enjoy the life in the UK.
Awesome. Yeah. So Pearl is willing and you're kind enough to provide your email. So I'll also attach to the episode notes if you're interested and you're in the UK or you have more questions for her, um, reach out to her and then she'll be happy to help you.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for coming to the show, Pearl.
Thanks so much, Bing.
Thanks for listening to Chai with Ping. Let us hear your voices and stories. Please share this episode, like and follow us on Instagram at Chai with Ping. You can also email us at chaiwithping@gmail.com. Till next time.